Hello guys and welcome to my new video. So today I decided to do a Netherlight Crucible preview for Resto Druid. So next week Netherlight Crucible is going to unlock and it's going to make relic choices way harder to choose. You most likely will have to use things like spreadsheets to actually determine, and why is that? Because the relic choices is not only gonna go by the first trait, it's not only gonna go by the item level, it's also gonna go by a random secondary tier that you get, which is also random and has random values that are, some of them are much better, some of them are much worse, and choosing one of those random choices, you also get a secondary relic trait. So you most likely will get some throughput trait, like for example here I have Grove Walker, Seed of the World Tree, or Knowledge of the Ancients, but I can't choose Knowledge of the Ancients because I have to go with another trait. I can only pick one at a time. So it is going to create a big confusion towards relic traits and relic choices basically. So let's have a look at Netherlight Crucible first of all. First of all, how much AP levels do you need to have? So you can see here, at least in Wowhead, you can see that most people will be maybe around 66 AP levels, which allows you to choose basically secondary traits for your 3 relics. You won't be able to unlock tier 3 because that's probably, it's AP level 69, which is probably going to be harder for most people. I'm aiming for 66 so I can unlock secondary tiers. Now, what are these secondary tiers? So let's first look at Netherlight Crucible. You'll have your relics already chosen. You'll choose the first relic. You'll be able to unlock the first tier. The first tier gives you 5 artifact weapon levels, total 15. So that's really nice. I get 15 item levels to my artifact. That's awesome. Secondary tier is you get to choose one of these, and these are random. Now, in order to unlock it for all of your relics, like you can see you have 3 relics, you need to be AP level 65 to unlock it for those. So doable. It's doable until Netherlight Crucible is unlocked. Now, these traits themselves are actually random, and you get shadow and you get light. Now the problem with that is that there are shadow traits that are really good, and there are holy traits that are really good, and there are some completely near useless traits. In here you will be able to see these are the shadow traits and these are the holy traits. Now, the very general choice of which ones are actually really good and which ones are really bad is that for the shadow, Mastery of Shadows, mastery increased by 650, avoidance increased by 1000, is one of the best ones you can choose by quite a big margin. This is going to be one of the best ones, depending on your playstyle as well, but generally, this is a general list. Master of Shadows is really good in the shadow, in the shadow trait place. Now, in the shadow, secondary shadow traits is really good as well. Is Murderous Intent. Your versatility is increased by 2500, or Concordance of the Legion Fall is active. This is a very decent trait as well. So these are 2 shadow traits that are quite good. Everything else is kind of pretty bad. Now, for the holy traits, there is there's way more better holy traits than there is shadow, but like I said, Master of Shadows is probably one of the best ones that you really want to look for. Now, for holy you get light speed, haste increased by 650. This is really good as well. This is a very good trait. After that you get Shocklight, while Concordance of Legion Fall is active. You gain your critical strike is increased by 2500. Another really good trait. And after that you get a little bit, still a decent trait. Infusion of Light. Your harmful spells and abilities have a chance to deal, we don't care. Your helpful spells have an ability, have a chance to heal for 11,000 or 116,000. This is not too bad. This is not complete garbage. And then you have Refractive Shell. Your spells and abilities have a chance to cause Refractive Shell, absorbing 200,000 damage last 10 seconds. Again, not completely terrible. But the list overall, general list, Master of Shadows, really good. Light Speed, probably your secondary one that you want to go. Shocklight, number 3. Murderous Intent, number 4. Infusion of Light, and then Refractive Shell around, you know, the bottom ones, or the ones that you actually possibly could pick up. Now, in order to actually calculate this is really kind of hard, because you'll see here that you're gonna have your relic, you're gonna have your first trait, you're gonna have your secondary trait. Like for example, here I have Shadow Blind, which is kind of pretty terrible. but I do have light speed. I can go into light speed and then I can choose Seed of the World Tree or Knowledge of the Ancients. But what if I want a Grove Walker? I can't really pick Grove Walker unless I don't go into the light trait, and then I go into shadow trait and I get this. So I get a crappy secondary trait, but a probably better third trait. Which one's better? Now, probably the only way you're going to really determine this is using spreadsheets. Now, the good thing about this is that Tordi has updated his spreadsheet with all of the traits that are available, giving you approximate values. I've gotten a lot of this information from Dreamgrove Discord group and Questionably Epic website, which the links are below in the description. It's an amazing source of a lot of the Resto Druid information, and I definitely recommend you to try it out. So this is the latest Tordi spreadsheet, version 2.3, and you can see here if you input your values, if you input your log pastes, you go through all the instructions that are here, which can be daunting, but I do have a video about how to do it as well. You will have the optimal trait path section. So you can see here that for my example, let's go to our example. We have Shadow Blind and we have Light Speed. So we just put in light speed. Let's just go from the Shadow Blind, and we have light speed as a tier 2 trait. Now, what did we get for tier 3? We got Grove Walker, Seed, and Knowledge. Grove Walker, Seed of the World Tree, and Knowledge of the Ancients. So now, straight away, you can see that optimal path for me to go is light speed and Knowledge of the Ancients. For me right now, I know that I picked the wrong choice. I go into light speed and knowledge of the Ancients. And now I have the most optimal relic pack for my #1 relic. I gotta do for the other 3 relics as well. But this is just the way it's going to be. So this spreadsheet is a really good way of determining what traits are really good for you. Now, traits are not gonna be... The list of traits that I mentioned here, Master of Shadows, Light Speed, Shocklight, Murderous Intent, they're not always going to be the same for everyone. What I mentioned was a very general list of what's probably going to be the best, but by using a spreadsheet, you'll be able to determine the best Netherlight Crucible traits to choose from. So you can actually see here that for me, Master of Shadows, based on my 2 fights, really heavy, intensive healing fights, because you have to provide your own log pastes to actually make a determination on what gear is the best for you. Master of Shadows is really, really good. Murderous Intent is really good. Light Speed is really good. Shocklight is actually also really good. So you can see that these stats, or at least stats for my tier 2 traits, is a little bit different than what I said at the start. But that's just because that's what works for me the best. And using a spreadsheet is the best way to do it. But general idea, Master of Shadows is going to be really, really good. Murderous Intent is quite good. Light of Speed is very good. Shocklight is going to be quite good as well. Refractive Shell and Infusion of Light is going to be, you know, decent choices. But the best way to determine which way to go, use the spreadsheet, use the optimal path, and determine what's the best way to do it. Now, this is, you're probably going to have to do this because relics have been... To determine the best relic is going to be way harder. So I urge you to start using spreadsheets. If you don't have the time to use spreadsheets, then just use the general idea of what of these traits are the best. But spreadsheet is by far the best way to do it, especially when Netherlight Crucible unlocks. And I'd like to thank you for the people who watched the guide. Let me know if it was helpful. Let me know if you have any more questions in the comments. And I'll see you in my next little video.